So I think we can all agree that Ellen DeGeneres is one of the biggest people in Hollywood. This is the reason why she had been in the same space with a lot of A-list celebs in the industry. And yes, this includes the ever-controversial Diddy. This also means there's a big chance that she knows a lot about these celebs, right? Anyway, Diddy and Ellen are close. So close that Diddy had made several appearances on the Ellen DeGeneres show. But wait, there's more, because now people are saying that Ellen is more than just a friend, maybe even someone who is involved in some of Diddy's fishy businesses. By the looks of it, Ellen is not just having a good time with Diddy whenever they're hanging out. No, words on the street reveal that she might be also getting down during Diddy's infamous freak-off parties, which has generated even more questions about what else were these two doing together. What are the other things Ellen knew about Diddy? I mean, if Ellen attended those gatherings, she must have witnessed some bizarre behavior. Well, now she is getting dragged into the controversy, but more shocking details are getting exposed. This was after talks about a possible Diddy and Twitch affair made rounds on the internet. Twitch died, and Diddy and Ellen may have had something to do with it. Well, at least that's what people on the web have been saying. Or he may have known too much about Ellen and Diddy's shenanigans and was hushed as a result. So what really happened? Let's find out. They have a long history. Diddy has appeared on Ellen's program several times and is always sending her invitations. Remember when Ellen approached Diddy about his birthday party invitation?
Felt like I was losing, but 17 times! I've been on the show 17 times!
It feels like 20.
It feels like 20.
Every time feels like 1 1/4, so it adds up to 20 because it keeps going.
Diddy insisted he'd been inviting her, but she's been nowhere to be seen, or so she says.
No, it's great. So tell me about your birthday party. Am I invited?
Yes. Yes, you're definitely invited. I invite you to all my parties. You just haven't seemed to show up.
No, well, is it on the East Coast?
Yes.
Well, that's why. Why don't you have one here on the West Coast? Because I work all the time.
Rumor has it that Ellen has been attending Diddy's parties, but not the ones you'd see on daytime TV. During one interview, Diddy alluded to a completely separate party scene that takes place after hours, and Ellen, well, she didn't skip a beat and attempted to play it off as if she was in on the joke. But we all know there's some truth to every chuckle. Now, there's this viral paparazzi video circulating the internet, and it's captivated everyone. Talking paparazzi noticed Ellen sliding and did not keep back. I mean, they interrogated her about the charges against Diddy, and she seemed worried.
Ellen, were you surprised by the allegations about P. Diddy? Did that surprise you about P. Diddy? He's been on your show many times. Have a good night. Have you been to his parties?
This is the point at which things get suspicious. People are now scratching their heads, wondering why Ellen suddenly panics at the mention of Diddy. Ellen is stammering and looks like she's going to bolt somewhere. I believe we can all agree that things are not adding up here. Fans are doing some serious detective work on Diddy and Ellen's relationship, and they're uncovering some delicious information. It turns out that these two have more in common than meets the eye. Ellen may have not faced the same criminal charges as Diddy, but she is not exactly squeaky clean either. Remember when she was called the meanest woman in Hollywood? Yes, there is a reason for that. Ellen's rap sheet is longer than a CVS bill, and she has faced some really nasty claims in the past. It's a complete disaster, from complaints of mistreatment of her employees to suspicions of her domineering conduct towards her wife, Portia de Rossi. As rumors about her less than sunny attitude begin to circulate, former employees peel back the curtains, showing a side of Ellen that did not match her on-screen character. But the true shocker came in 2016 when Kathy Griffin exposed some huge secrets in her memoir. Though she didn't mention Ellen's name, the indications were obvious. Short blonde hair, and a reputation for being a bit harsh, it wasn't difficult to figure out who she was talking about.
At Ellen DeGeneres. A little nasty in the book against her.
Well, I tell a story about her. That was my experience when I was on her show.
What happened to you?
I just thought she really kind of ruled that set with an iron fist in a way that was a little like, it took me back a little.
Their feud dates back to 2007 when Ellen made some disparaging remarks about Kathy during her monologue, leaving Kathy with a bad taste in her mouth. As fellow hilarious females, Kathy anticipated solidarity rather than shade. In her own words, Kathy wrote, "I am apparently not her cup of tea, but I think she is great. I am not a comedy snob. I'm vulgar, but I think it's great there's clean comedians and prop comedians and topical comedians and observational comedians. I'm just happy whenever a female, especially a female over 50, is still in the game." She then wrote, "I had mentioned on your show that I wish women would support each other more, in particular, super influential women. I expressed that to her, and she was like, I don't have to have anybody on my show I don't like." And that paved the way for many more individuals to come forward. Consider this. Mariah Carey was on Ellen's show in 2008. You know, the one where celebs gossip and have fun? Well, things quickly became uncomfortable. Ellen, being Ellen, began delving into the juicy allegations about Mariah rather than having a good conversation. It was like witnessing a vehicle smash in slow motion, and Mariah wasn't feeling it. But things just get worse. Remember that cringeworthy moment when Ellen slid over a glass of champagne? Yeah, Mariah politely declined, and Ellen totally misread the situation. Mariah was dealing with something far bigger at the moment. In truth, she was experiencing a miscarriage, which is sad on its own. Imagine being put on blast in front of millions of people.
You're pregnant.
Don't discuss that.
All right, well, you don't have to answer.
No, that's okay. No, honestly,
you don't have to answer. Let's just toast with champagne and decide. Yeah, you want to taste it?
I can't believe you did this to me, Ellen.
What? I'm not going to ask you if you're pregnant or not. I'm just going to say.
Years later, Mariah eventually spoke out about it, acknowledging how awkward and painful the moment had been for her. When asked about it, the singer said, "I was extremely uncomfortable with that moment, is all I can say. And I really have had a hard time grappling with the aftermath. I wasn't ready to tell anyone because I had had a miscarriage. I don't want to throw anyone that's already being thrown under any proverbial bus. But I didn't enjoy that moment." Let's also discuss Dakota Johnson's iconic moment. Do you remember when she called out Ellen? So Ellen decided to play it cool and pretend she wasn't invited to Dakota's birthday party. Just a classic move, right? But Dakota wasn't having it. She called Ellen out on her BS, and you could see the regret on Ellen's face.
How was the party? I wasn't invited.
Actually, no, that's not the truth, Ellen. You were invited. Last time I was on the show, last year, you gave me a bunch of about not inviting you, but I didn't even know you wanted to be invited.
Well, who doesn't want to be invited to a party?
Well, I didn't even know you liked me.
Dakota didn't hold back, and she even handled Ellen like a professional. Ellen may have felt she could get away with it, but she was sorely mistaken. And let's not forget Wendy Williams, who has spat with Diddy and Ellen on several occasions. First, according to rumors, Diddy once pulled some big strings to keep Wendy Williams off the radio. Yeah, you heard that right. He allegedly wasn't pleased with Wendy sharing some hot gossip, so he made calls, pulled strings, and Wendy's radio ban was enacted. But it didn't stop there, because when it comes to Diddy, things don't usually end pretty. Word on the street suggests that Diddy was so desperate to keep his secrets buried that he allegedly ordered a hit on Wendy. Yup, that's how desperate he was. And now everything is coming full circle. I mean, there were allegations that he dispatched his team to confront Wendy at work. Diddy's move was not particularly classy. Now for the juicy stuff. Wendy appears to have obtained some pretty embarrassing photographs, including one of Suge Knight hanging out with Diddy's kid Justin. These photos were ready to blow the lid off Diddy's entire denial game. But before Wendy could blast the truth bomb on social media, Diddy reportedly took steps to silence her. And that's not all. Wendy also had tea on Diddy's low-key shenanigans. Back when it was major taboo in the rap game, she even had a pic of Diddy in a compromising situation with another dude. And then there's Ellen. Let's just say Wendy and Ellen didn't get along very well. Wendy didn't hold back when she slung shade at Ellen over the poisonous vibe reports at her studio. And despite Ellen's dismissal of the charges, Wendy wasn't buying it, stating that her own experiences on the Ellen show weren't all sunshine and rainbows. During one interview, Ellen's passion was comparable to watching paint dry. Seriously, it looked as if she couldn't wait to hit the dance floor and leave Wendy behind. And Wendy made a joke about Ellen resembling Justin Bieber. Ellen's poker face couldn't disguise her irritation.
Really is cute, and some people say that he looks like you.
I've heard that. You've never heard that? They say it in a good way. Okay,
What's
fine.
the song? What's the song?
Baby, baby.
Oh.
I forgot the name of the new one.
That's not new.
Are you able to draw parallels between Diddy's most recent interactions on Jimmy Kimmel's program and Ellen's uncomfortable moments? Imagine this. Diddy was working hard on Jimmy Kimmel Live in November of last year, right before Cassie revealed her legal bombshell. Jimmy wasted no time in bringing up some dubious charges and Diddy's former bodyguard guy. Diddy was able to effectively project a professional air of coolness while attempting to sidestep Jimmy's queries.
I saw a guy on the internet the other day who said he used to be your security guard, who said that when you were dating J-Lo, Will Smith and Jada tried to pick her up on a threesome and you were going to beat up Will Smith. Is that true?
Then the bombshell arrived. Jimmy uncovered allegations that Will Smith, Diddy, J-Lo, and Jada Pinkett were once planning a crazy threesome. To put Diddy's response simply, he wasn't very happy about having that dirty laundry shown on national television. Plus, there's also this widely circulated conspiracy idea. Brace yourself, because rumors are saying that there's a chance Ellen played a role in the unexplained death of her ex-girlfriend Anne Heck. Yes, things have taken a very bad turn. For those who don't know, in the late 1990s, actress Anne Heck dated Ellen. At the time, the relationship was quite significant. They were heralded as the first gay super couple in history, and this is a major acknowledgement. However, fast forward to a shocking revelation made by Anne on her podcast in 2021 when she stated Ellen attempted to have her placed in an institution and put on a Hollywood blacklist.
We teased about this before, but that I was the original canceled, and I am going to be the original uncanceled. I am uncanceled today. I am finished with that. This is what I say. Goodbye. Watch out.
Here's where things get unsettling though. Anne falls away in a strange vehicle accident precisely 1 year after the podcast premiere. According to early accounts, she was acting strangely and under the influence of drugs. Nonetheless, the final autopsy indicates differently. No drugs, no impairment in her system. It exudes suspicion at every turn. And what about the mystery surrounding the sudden passing of Stephen Twitch Boss? It appears that there have been some major deceptions told to us regarding the true events behind Twitch. You see, there is fresh information that presents a disconcerting picture of Ellen and Diddy's role in his passing. Twitch turned out to be a lot more informed than he should have been, and they moved quickly to permanently silence him.
But to honor Twitch, I think the best thing that we can do.
The truth is that some unsettling allegations are circulating regarding Ellen's antics at Diddy's renowned parties. We're talking about recordings. Yes, you heard me right. Recordings of Ellen acting sinister when escorting Diddy's women. Rumor has it that Ellen attempted to coerce Twitch into attending these bizarre parties, but it didn't sit well with him. The sad part, though, is that if you want to survive, you have to say no to an offer like that. Twitch later was found dead a few days after turning down Ellen's proposal. Did that happen by chance? Maybe not. Imagine the following scenario. On December 13, 2022, fans are still reeling from the shock. It was then revealed that Twitch died due to a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The worst part is that individuals can't seem to get over the impression that something is wrong with the situation as a whole. Let's analyze it. Twitch moves out of his LA house on December 12th and stays in a motel a short distance from his residence with his wife Allison and their 3 children. The following day, Allison discovers that he's gone. But oddly, Twitch left his car. She dashes to the police station and begs them to investigate Twitch's disappearance. This man, never travels any place without his wheels. That is why it's extremely fishy. Police searching the house for clues are already in progress. But then they receive a call from the motel telling them that they had discovered him in the restroom. This is where things become hazy. Although the official narrative claims it was a suicide, the fans don't accept it. I'm talking about Twitch, the dude who always looked to be in control, loving his family, and putting off positive vibes. There's just something off. Twitch and Allison did appear to be the ideal pair at first glance. They even made jokes about bringing in another baby to the family. The trouble is, though, that just because someone appears content on the internet, it doesn't always imply that they're not struggling with inner demons. Plus, there's the entire note mystery thing to worry about. At first, there was no mention of it in the media. Nonetheless, law enforcement subsequently told TMZ what was going on, and it turns out Twitch left a message mentioning earlier difficulties. What difficulties? We don't really know. Fans, however, sense a strangeness despite the message and the official autopsy report. This is when the juicy part comes in, and Diddy and Ellen's friendship is examined in detail. According to others, Twitch may have been involved in some severe blackmail. Twitch was in Ellen's inner circle for about 10 years, which raises some questions even if there's no concrete evidence that he was hanging out with Diddy. And let's discuss similarities. Unexpectedly, Diddy and Ellen have much in common. From allegations flying about some shady business cult they're both part of gossip about, Ellen hitting up Diddy's legendary parties. Yes, it's quite a ride. Is there anything that Twitch might not have known about these two? What is the true story behind Ellen and Diddy then? It appears that we only have just begun to explore this horror of Hollywood. Let's start in the manner that Diddy and Ellen handle their staff, because they are quite the same. Diddy was in deep water back in 2017 after his ex-chef, Cindy Rueda, accused him of retaliation and sexual harassment. Cindy let loose about working long hours without receiving just compensation, but that's only the very beginning. Can you imagine this? After their in-bedroom sessions, Diddy allegedly requests her to serve him and his friends meals, which is when things allegedly took a strange turn. And as if that wasn't enough, one of Diddy's pals even walked confidently into the kitchen, assuming Cindy would be impressed by his good looks without too many clothes on. This is where things become shady though. Cindy's objections were ignored, but Diddy's estate director made a cunning strategy that set her up for theft. They threatened to file charges unless she remained silent, waving a watch in her face and saying it was discovered in the garbage. Thus, it's evident that a great deal of drama is developing, even if Diddy has been dodging questions and making a good image for the public. Furthermore, it appears like Diddy and Ellen both have some real issues with the way they handle their staff members hidden away in their closets. You've heard the gossip regarding Ellen allegedly mistreating her employees. However, it's not just talk. Trust me. A litany of grievances paints a dismal picture of Ellen's management of her home and business. Ellen reportedly operated her house like a drill sergeant from a military movie. Tears dropped by former housekeepers describe her as a despot who enjoyed punishing people for even the smallest mistakes. She would even go so far as to compile records of all the petty transgressions her staff members committed, from giving her food in the incorrect dish to not perfectly foaming her coffee.
While that's great that she's now talking to the different departments, it does seem to me her saying this is a little bit naive or a bit obtuse. Like, it does make sense that if people are struggling in their workplace, especially people if they're on lower rungs of the ladder, why would they ever feel comfortable speaking directly to Ellen about it?
However, it gets much crazier. It appears that Ellen placed what can only be called booby traps throughout her mansion, like concealing matches under cabinet doors to see whether her housekeepers were paying attention, and she would bound the security personnel and handymen who ventured into Ellen's domain. A former worker did not hold back in referring to Ellen as the worst person they had ever encountered and asserting that she enjoyed sending people screaming. It also seems that even her pets liked her wife, Portia, better than her. Plus, there's an entire scandal with the Ellen Show. Once BuzzFeed published a shocking piece with 10 former employees validating many people's suspicions, the atmosphere on the Ellen Show was toxic. There are reports that people were advised not to attend family funerals or take sick days. And Ellen allegedly did nothing to stop the prejudice and maltreatment that occurred while she was in charge.
I learned that things happened here that never should have happened. I take that very seriously, and I want to say I am so sorry to the people who were affected. I know that I'm in a position of privilege and power, and I realize that with that comes responsibility, and I take responsibility for what happens at my show.
Tony Okenboa, a former DJ for The Ellen Show, didn't hold back when discussing the toxicity he experienced. What's bizarre, though, is how silent Ellen's celebrity friends were throughout the entire scandal. Isn't it strange that Ellen, who supposedly treated people like trash, preached love and kindness? Additionally, Diddy has been promoting his entire love game recently. Although their catchphrases are compassion and love, it seems like a different matter when it comes to really executing what they teach. Starting with Diddy, things aren't always as lovely behind closed doors as they appear, and as you all might remember, Diddy's ex-girlfriend Cassie accused him of some pretty naughty things. There is coercion into using drugs, masks, and activities with other guys while Diddy is watching. Then, he allegedly became aggressive when she attempted to bounce, causing her to sustain cuts and bruises.
That she was abused. She was a part of the cycle of violence, physical and sexual abuse. There was uncontrollable rage.
Not only that, but Diddy's former bodyguard also revealed details about how he supposedly abused his baby mama. To get away from his fury, Misa Hilton had to pull an impossible task under an automobile. There is Kim Porter as well. After she broke up with him, she supposedly got her nose fractured and was stalked like in a spy film. Let's now turn our attention to Ellen. Even though she is the queen of daytime television, there have long been accusations that she is subtly dictatorial in a relationship with Portia de Rossi. There are discussions about possessiveness and jealousy, with poor Portia feeling like she's in a cage. Furthermore, it seems like Ellen wasn't exactly supporting Portia's acting endeavors from the sideline. Their romance began in 2000 at a party in Hollywood, but as time goes on, it resembles an emotional roller coaster more. They went public in 2005, but rumors of Ellen smothering Portia soon followed, which is not quite the pleasant conclusion we had hoped for. Diddy's web of illicit activity appears to have ensnared everyone in Hollywood, either ignoring it or stumbling upon it. Furthermore, many are surprised to see Ellen on the list, even though we may have anticipated Beyonce, Jay-Z, Kim K, and J-Lo to be there. Do you believe that Twitch's death has more going on than what first appears? Or are we simply taking this complex web of Hollywood drama one step too far?